And for Berjaya, what do they wish to ban away to start it off? What do you want to target? It looks like Kanye in the jungle. No Olaf for him.
Yeah, no Olaf for him. What else works well for Kongya? He did favor the Jarvan before, but it seemed as the tournament progressed, it fell off a little bit, and I believe that garnered them a loss. I think for me, perhaps Zoe would be a very hot pick for Uniboy that has been very scary, and you pair that up with any sort of potential Ezreal pickups that we've seen before in the poke composition, which has been popular today, so perhaps they want to take that away as well.
Alright, so no Varus allowed here for AHQ. Again, jungle though being heavily targeted. No Graves either for Kongya, and it's been actually a while since we've watched AHQ or Berjaya play competitive actually, because the last patch that we saw of them, I believe it was 10.6 back in the playoffs, 10.7. So a little bit of changes here and there, especially from the jungle. I'm interested to see whether or not Kongyu's picked up anything during this break that he wants to whip out here immediately up against Berjaya, who they also banned out the zone.
Yep, no surprises there. It is again the champion that contributed to what you mentioned earlier, a 32-38 KDA at the first round robin. And for Berjaya, you know, I want to see Enzo back in the Rek'Sai pick. It has been very successful for Berjaya. I'm not very sure if that's still their go-to, whether or not they want to shift a little bit more towards, you know, the usual Trundle, the usual, perhaps maybe the Nidalee, but it will definitely be very different once Enzo picks that up.
Alright, so we also had the Ezreal get banned out here, away from K2. He always was known for having a very clean Ezreal back in spring, but that does mean the Syndra is going to be the first lock-in here for Berjaya.
For Berjaya, putting a lot on towards Mawan here on the Syndra first pick. Doesn't exactly reveal too much. It also denies something away from Uniboy. But then Aphelios is open. It just means that K2 definitely not very comfortable when it comes to picking up the Aphelios. For now though, curious what will be the set for AHQ, what Kongya is going to pick up just to, you know, be that solid early game for AHQ, but you know, it's going to be the Thresh for Ysera.
Well, we also got to remember that Syndra could always be flexed down into the bot lane. That's always been kind of the backup answer when playing up against the Aphelios. So there's some flexibility on the side of Berjaya already in the draft, and we'll see whether or not they want to show that. Coming into their next pick, it does look like it's going to be this Trundle as their first go, and want to try and take that one away from Kongya.
Yeah, you're right. It could be flexed, and K2 did play one game of Syndra back at spring, so it can be really that go-to counter when it comes to that Aphelios. But revealing the Ashe could be a different story, as Mawan will be on that Syndra.
I'm actually shocked we've had so much Ashe come out now. It's, well, it's been 3 Ashes so far, as we had Golden Feet played, and we just saw Dawn. Now it's going to be Berjaya whipping out the Ashe here in the bot lane for likely K2. For AHQ though, Uniboy going to go fall back onto one of his favorites from spring. It's going to be the Galio in mid lane.
Yeah, that's the thing. Either Uniboy can play maybe a Rumble, but this time around he's going to play on that Galio, maybe create chaos at bot side, and as well as removing any sort of kill pressure, lessen the kill pressure rather when it comes to the Syndra in the mid lane. So Syndra will definitely have a difficult time trying to find opportunities to most likely try to get ahead. In the meantime though, that's going to be a Mordekaiser ban. A lot of respect again towards Ozzy. At some point he was godlike in one of the matches in spring, and there you go. That's a ban towards Ozzy.
Yeah, no Mordekaiser. Meanwhile though, no jungle on the side of Kongya, as that's going to be the Jarvan being banned out, so really trying to lock down onto his jungle pool. Again, this is also Kongya, who also whipped out the Nocturne back in spring, so he's got himself a decent pool, at least when it comes to the jungle, so I'll be shocked actually whether or not Berjaya let through, say, something like the Nidalee or the Lee Sin, because the main reason you take Trundle is you love going up into tank matchups, because you can just steal away all those resistances, and yeah, that's going to be their final ban.
Yeah, that's going to be the case, as just as you mentioned, most likely the open ones left. You don't want to put yourself in a tight situation, like lock in a a Sejuani or some sort. So AHQ is just gonna try and take their time, maybe look towards another power farming jungler. I mean, Kindred is open. We've seen Kindred earlier, and it is still open for the taking, considering that Graves is out of the question. And now it seems to me, you know, that's not Chili, that's Delulu this time around, but it will still fit the style of Berjaya, having at least a secondary damage soaker on their side in the form of the Nautilus.
Yeah, this already screams this bot lane is level 6 Felios Go Boom. That's kind of what they plan on doing here. Depth charge into an arrow, always a good case to see. And do we actually get this Sylas pickup in the top lane in response to likely the Wukong being played by Civ?
Yeah, that's true. I mean, when I look back on it, Sylas, maybe it's a little bit of Mao on side, but you got that Syndra. So that's going to be in the mid lane. In the meantime, though, for AHQ, still searching for what actually is going to get picked up in the jungle for themselves.
You got some options when it comes to, say, brawlers, if you still want to go something like that. Rek'Sai has yet to be picked up when it comes to summer. She did get a little bit out of favor versus some of the more power farming, you know, aggressive junglers like we saw from the Graves as well as the Nidalee, but it is going to make her first appearance onto the Rift as it's locked in by Kongyu.
I think it's a really good set. I like the 2v2s, I suppose, especially when you go top side, when you look at the Wukong and as well as the Rek'Sai. Gonna try and make Azzy's life a little bit hard on the Sylas. But in terms of trying to steal a couple of ults, there's a couple, like, you know, Wukong's ult's pretty good when it comes to the team fights. And as well as, I think that's the most value for me, because it's kind of hard if you want to steal the Galio, because most likely he's not going to be around. But yeah, looking forward to this composition from the Dragons.
Yeah, you're going to have Sylas, who's going to try and spin in circles himself, it looks like. Which is not a bad pickup, because I do believe he gets both activations, too. So he gets the double knock-up. So it's going to be just Beyblades up in the top lane trying to spin at each other, pretty much, if, you know, anything gets a little bit too chaotic. So we'll have to see. Of course, this is the first game for both of these squads. AHQ getting knocked out in the semifinals of playoffs by Talon in the lower bracket. And Berjaya also kind of got upset back in playoffs of spring when they lost out to HKA.
Yeah, at that time, HK looked really solid, but Berjaya, again, this is a retained roster for themselves, and I'm excited to see how this pans out.
Yeah, we'll see whether or not they, you know, trim the fat that they wanted to, or if things go awry. We'll see. They're going to go up against AHQ, a pretty tough opponent. We'll see whether or not they can swing above their weight class when it comes to the rankings of spring as we go ahead and load on into the Rift for our final game of the night.
Welcome to Summoner's Rift.
A nice starry night over on the Rift as we're getting a little bit late into the evening, but as is the normal. Luckily, players are able to go on home, get a nice bite. I know I'll be doing the same. Luckily, no more lockdown past a certain time, so I can actually go downstairs and get food after a broadcast. Opal is saved. Opal gets to eat.
Opal is saved.
Opal gets to eat compared to spring.
Oh dear.
But looking at this, you know, Berjaya, overall, a fresh new organization joining onto the League of Legends scene, very similar to Talon. And there was always kind of this mixed reception with Berjaya, is like, what is Berjaya's, like, you know, focal point? They all have, like, they have solid laners, but we never say, you know, that's the star player when it comes to Berjaya. That's the person we always want to watch when it comes to it. It's always like somebody else just kind of overperforms one game, the other person kind of does well. Enzo has a good jungle game. It's kind of all over the place, and I don't think we've necessarily locked down who we'd say is, you know what, if this person has a good game, it's going to be an easy win.
Yeah, and I think that was the difficult part when we tried to see when it comes to, like, we mentioned how there's not a clear, visible win condition just yet. Delulu, though.
Oh, Delulu goes
Early
ahead,
gank.
gets himself a quick knockback, and there you go. Flash
Oh,
forward.
the flash.
Beautiful pillar coming out from Enzo. And that's first blood coming out from Berjaya.
That was beautifully done. Again, not a lot of the teams would expect such an early gank coming from, again, their opposing laners, because there's not a lot of vision to work with. They have saved their trinkets, and therefore this enabled Enzo to move from getting a gank and then visiting the jungle. And because of that Ashe pick, that vision provided can be that tool as well to spot where Kongyu is.
So that's very nice. And Delulu, he's all over the map as he's going to come in through mid. Malon, though, does end up missing. So unfortunately, it's going to be a little bit unfortunate there. Wanted to actually hit the Scour of the Week, but down in bot lane, it was Delulu who actually started things off.
There was a lot of mind games too, because Delulu was not in the lane. He was roaming back, walking back in circles around that river area, and Isera is also forced to do the same, try to probably body block or try to send something, but unfortunately it was a successful gank for Enzo, and now it's going to be them swapping in jungles in the meantime.
Luckily, though, Wako did not end up using his flash. He still has that himself as well as the cleanse, so not end of the world. I still think we're going to see a lot more action come level 6 in that bot lane. Meanwhile, top, though, a bit of a rough time it seems here for Aziz. He's getting poked out pretty hard here by the Wukong.
Yeah, very interesting. I thought AHQ would have pushed for the dive, but the wave was not set properly despite Ozzy only having half HP.
Oh, I've seen this before.
Decided to respect that.
Well, let's see. Oh, beautiful pillar. But once again, the hook even lands there. But in comes the teleport, and it's a bit of late. Actually gets interrupted there from Ozzy. That's another teleport now coming in. I believe that's going to be the Wukong joining in onto the fray, as unfortunately Uniboy ended up just getting, unfortunately, interrupted, much like my path of logic there. And it's Delulu that gets taken on down. AHQ are able to respond.
My, oh my. I mean, props to Mawan for stopping the teleport against Uniboy. But then there's a second teleport coming from topside, and I think that's a problem. And the pillar was an amazing idea. Unfortunately, there was still that little bit of hitbox to click, and it sent Wako back to his support. And unfortunately, again, once you go in, it's really difficult to pull yourself out, as Delulu did not get the hook correctly and has stumbled upon the terrain near him instead.
Yeah, I was kind of interested that, Ozzy decided not to try and go for a teleport himself to try and join in the fight. There was actually such a extended fight that it was technically 2 teleports used by AHQ, so they'll kind of miss out wanting to have that. And does mean Ozzy does have the opportunity for himself to try and make a roam, and it won't be answered by either member of AHQ, so there is that in the back of the minds of Berjaya Dragons, but still 1-1 here in the first 5 minutes.
Yeah, I think it's that confidence too that everything happened so fast. Everything died. Someone died so fast that I think perhaps that it wasn't the right call for the Berjaya Dragons, for Ozzy rather, to teleport back. Speaking of topside again, that's an early Executioner's pickup for Ziv, so it's gonna be a huge night for Ozzy when it comes to the trades later, the long sustained trades between the Sylas and Wukong.
Yeah, because, Sylas has that little bit of extra regen back in the kit, like getting that cutaway. Civ is, he's going for a bit of a trip here. He's trying to see whether or not Berjaya is going to try and answer in onto this objective. You do see Delulu trying to path himself forward, but that dragon's already long gone. It does allow Ozzy actually to get a free push up in topside.
Yeah, Ozzy gets a breather, actually reaches level 6 too. So that's something. Try to deny wave as much as he can. Perhaps he can try to execute something. Unfortunately, though there is no jungler nearby to take advantage of this, and Ziv will take a lot of and soak a lot of experience on that thick wave.
Yeah, you probably wanted to actually push that in a little further. Actually, were pings coming out from Berjaya, so maybe there's some miscommunication. Nonetheless, it's still just that one dragon picked up by AHQ in the very end. No fight actually ensued, so it doesn't really matter. It's still that teleport advantage in that top lane for the next about 3 minutes.
Yeah, teleport advantage. Ozzy is able to land at least a little bit of vision towards the Krugs of Kongye, so he can anticipate any sort of funny business when it comes to top side, as level 6 is already acquired by both top laners. And in the meantime, though, again, it's gonna be very difficult for Mon here, considering that is just a Galio is just gonna push the waves. There's not a lot of kill pressure, and he can just press R later on into the side lanes.
Yeah, just wants to join in the fights like that. Meanwhile, Uniboy has started to fall a little bit behind when it comes to the CS game. Enzo, though, making an appearance down toward bot, unfortunately. Delulu kind of gave away that they were getting aggressive for some reason, so we'll see whether or not AHQ are actually going to fall for this. Both flashes available, and you can see Delulu just like, all right, I'm a Nautilus. I'm going to pretend that I am a scary boy. And Enzo, well, is on top of a ward, so it doesn't matter anymore.
Cancel the TP.
Delulu.
Still not level 6 just yet. Oh, there's
They
a hook.
do know he's around the corner. They just want to try and burst down Delulu before it's over. Waka, whoo, gets a lot of damage back onto Ysera, though, but in comes Kongyu. Flash on forward from Wako. Wants to try and do what he can, and he gets the snipe with the Q. In comes the Rek'Sai, finds himself the kill. Wako able to find a kill himself. Delulu almost able to trade it back underneath the tower, but nonetheless, that is going to be the kills picked up in favor of AHQ, and I have to wonder, where is the teleports from this Silas? Because that was a prime opportunity for Berjaya.
I was gonna say too, because I believe some of the minions were trapped in the middle, so there was an opportunity to teleport. There's also a ward being placed down too, so in case AHQ was a little bit too over-aggressive trying to chase everybody down. The thing is, Enzo soaked enough wave to reach level 6, I believe. And the Subjugate was available for the taking. Unfortunately, though, the Ignite tick was not enough to eliminate Ysera, and they've invested so much. So HQ managed to turn things around, and that's, I believe, the second attempt already coming from Enzo to try and make things happen at bot side.
And I gotta ask, like, Ozzy, I even was watching him on the minimap during that replay. He actually got underneath tower into the, like, in between the two towers. So if Civ really wanted to do that, he would have had to burn a flash, he would have had to probably burn ultimate as well, and maybe even got solo killed underneath the tower. So I don't understand why the call wasn't made for that Silas to try and go for a play. Nonetheless, Rift Herald is going to be secured by AHQ as they're able to pick up the first one off spawn. In comes the arrow from K2. Instantly, though, Kanyu's like, all right, I'll take a lantern to safety.
Yeah, that lantern is going to be a huge headache. This lantern, Ysera has saved Wako and now Kongye, and several points where Delulu or Berjaya Dragons just really wanted to get a pick, maybe even burn a flash, burn a cleanse. But because of that lantern, that's a really good safety net for them. In the meantime, though, I think it's a really good exchange too, because you exchange an ult for a relatively low cooldown regular skill, and I think that's pretty worth.
And here we go, engage coming out from Delulu, but guess what, Kanye is still around. Depth charge, though, does land onto the Aphelios. Wako still has his cleanse available, puts down the turret as well, and that's practically another champion joining in onto the fight. Ozzy wanted to try and get aggressive, but unfortunately for him, ooh, Ysera ends up popping the stopwatch. I also have a question mark myself, but he's able to walk away.
You put up the question mark there, so still works out pretty well. I think that would have been very scary if Delulu was healthy and he had his Q hook on cool on.
Cool down.
But in the meantime, cool down. What is wrong with Riku tonight?
I'll just say
anyway,
it's getting late. It's getting late.
It's getting late.
It's getting late, all right?
Did I really just say cool off? Cool. Anyway. Yeah, for Uniboy though, so far, we haven't really seen the Galio just yet, just because the timings are off, Unsealed Spellbook being picked up, so that's Uniboy having to rely on his ult to get into the fights for that presence for now. And with that said though, Ocean Drake is live, so AHQ again would like and would desire to have this, but Berjaya does have some sort of presence here in the mid lane.
So already, they kind of said, all right, we don't really care about lane phase anymore on the side of Berjaya. They're like, all right, let's just go for fights. Let's try and make something happen. They got themselves 4 control wards in mid lane, by the way. A lot of vision put down here by Berjaya. There's actually all 5 being used. In goes the engage from Ozzy, and they want to try and do what they can. In comes that Galio, though. Finds himself a double knock-up into a double taunt. Delulu and Ozzy stuck around the corner. Mao not able to finish off the kill. K2 gets taken down too low, and there you go. The Wukong should be able to finish off the Ashe. No, Ozzy going to try and sacrifice his life, but unfortunately that Executioner is just too much. And unfortunately not able to get back any life in the meanwhile. K2 will fall. That's going to be 2 more kills going in favor of AHQ.
It's so difficult because, again, Uniboy on this Galio works out well because you've got 2 magic dealers on the opposite side of the spectrum. You've got Silas and Mawan, and it came on the right time too when Uniboy came into the fight. And again, HQ has full control over this dragon, and for K2, it was just quite unfortunate that he had to meet Ziv too, so not a lot of positional advantage to land in any sort of auto attacks for the squad.
On top of that, Wako's picked up his 2nd kill, and he also just got full turret plating as well as first brick gold. This Aphelios is now what we call online, as we're accelerating to 200 years. Let's take another look, though, on the fight as they go for the engage on Sarah.
Yeah, they really put full force on Sarah, but at the same time, you've got K2, who's supposed to be your consistent damage dealer, had to deal with the monkey, so again, there was not a lot of damage present because of the chaos that AHQ has managed to deal. And with that said, they were not in the position to do any sort of retreat, and K2 had to suffer from that.
There we go. It's now a 3,000 gold lead in favor of AHQ. The Aphelios has picked up his tier 2 boots, as well the Findy Edge at 13.5. Ooh, it's rough, and Malon almost getting solo killed by Uniboy on this Galio. The Galio does decent damage. He's rocking Sork as well as the Proto Belt. Let's take another look here as we saw, I think, a catch actually off screen.
Yeah, Kongye here spotted by Enzo, and he used the Blast Cone, so they're in opposite directions, and ult actually used towards Mawan, but unfortunately, you're not very strong against 3 people in the jungle, in the enemy jungle.
So not too bad, I guess, in the end there. They're able to get a quick little catch. Catch Kanye getting a little bit too aggressive into that jungle. So nicely done. Meanwhile, though, Wako's getting more turret plating as well as turret gold. He might actually finish off his Zeal item on about half a back. I think he'll get Zeal at least, but yeah, this Aphelios is really starting to scale hard. It just looks like Berjaya can really do anything about it.
And that's the thing, so HQ will definitely, you know, that's their win condition. Get Wako ahead. You've got all of these really nice peelers on your squad and initiators in the form of Uniboy and Ziv. And because of the early kills, early plates that Wako has acquired, it is just really speeding the win condition of AHQ. And for the Berjaya Dragons, they aren't able to sort of get either Ozzy ahead, K2 ahead as well, so it's gonna be very difficult once they have to meet as 5s. And with that said, HQ looking towards making their way to get this mid lane tower, as Rift Herald is gonna be spawning in a few.
You can even see there on the gold graph, the trench is starting to form here for Berjaya. They need to try and find a ladder to get out. This is currently a 4,000 gold lead for AHQ. Also looking to set up toward this next Rift Herald. Maybe try and catch out here on Uniboy, but you can already see he's playing back defensively and has teleport to join for a fight on the top side of the map.
Yeah, Uniboy has teleport and exhaust in his kit, or rather in his summoner spell. For now though, Wako was flash. Sarah is gonna be fine. He walks away and it's fine. I think that is the problem. That's going to be a huge problem. Wanting to, for Berjaya, if they do want to secure a kill, they have to chain everything together. But after that, you don't have that secondary reliable engage. Supposedly maybe Ozzy can pick up the Wukong ult, which is now in his hands. But Rift Herald has been summoned in the mid lane.
And with that too, that's going to open up the midsection of this map beautifully for AHQ, and Wako also picks up another 300 gold on this Aphelios. I think this is the quickest amount of gold I've seen on Aphelios without getting any more kills past the 2 he got, as every time we go onto a turret, he's there claiming the tower gold. He's picked up, like, I think it's somewhere in the realm of like 1,200 in the last 2 or 3 minutes off all these towers, so they're injecting the gold exactly where it needs to go on the side of AHQ.
Yeah, he took a couple of solo plates at the first few minutes of the game, moved towards top, and now got mid.
Oh. He's gone ahead and straight up picked up his Hurricane off the next back, and that was like, what, a 3 to 4 minute Hurricane buy? That's a pretty disgusting amount of speed that he's been able to pick up gold. So if you're on the side of Berjaya, you gotta do something here. The longer this game goes, the happier AHQ are.
Yeah, I mean, they tried to do something. They tried to put more pressure on Wako by constantly ganking. But again, just as you mentioned a couple of times, where Ozzy could have most likely teleported, maybe turned the tides of battle. But it is Wako actually feeding onto those ganks and making it work for themselves. And 7 seconds on the clock. That's going to be the third dragon spawning in the map, with Berjaya not having a lot of vision to work with to make something happen.
He got Enzo all the way on the top side of the map, so AHQ, this is the freest dragon of their life, and unfortunately, it just kind of seems like the calls here from Berjaya are a bit scattered. It kind of looks like I'm watching a solo queue team. It looked good at the beginning because they were like, all right, let's get super aggressive in bot lane, but they have all this vision, but none of it is in the necessary position it needs to be. It's all defensive.
And here I was thinking that they wanted to exchange maybe the topside tower for the dragon. Maybe they felt like they are not prepared to fight at the moment. They needed to get some sort of perhaps a sneaky pick, because in terms of team fight, I would really hand it towards AHQ and their setup into their draft. So unfortunately, they are not able to exchange anything off of the map, and that is definitely a big W for AHQ.
And you're going to have Civ soon. Also going to have, oh, in comes the arrow. Ooh, it was close. Civ, though, with a nice sidestep going on over the wall. Has that double knock-up as Delulu ended up hooking in onto the clone. And the monkey, well, it's monkey business for him as he's able to get himself back to safety.
Yeah, he's able to survive, not even having to use a flash. So that is still available if he wants to close the gap even more when the team fight comes. And for now, though, again, you know, first-year tower still surviving on AHQ side, with the Berjaya Dragons having no choice. But since they cannot find the picks that they want, they are opted to just fall back and do the farm game.
Back to farm we go, and that's allowed AHQ to also move up this vision line through the bot side of Berjaya's map, and it's going to allow them to find picks if Berjaya are a little too overconfident. On top of that, too, because the fact that Wako's just had so much gold injected to him so early on in this game, that there's a real threat that if he has himself, of course, the red in the chakrams, that they could easily rip apart this Baron.
Yeah, and Berjaya will not be able to try and fight in time. But again, since Wako is the win condition of AHQ, it is also Berjaya's win condition if they manage to defeat Wako, and they have the tools for it if they manage to get that arrow in, get that stun in. But the big problem is, for me, as the game progresses, you know, Wako, after getting his, you know, base damage items, he will move towards more on the defensive item side of things, and, you know, cleanse on top of maybe a stopwatch later will be very, very difficult to try and remove Wako off of the rift.
Yeah, there's kind of two timers with Aphelios. The timer is when he gets his third attack item, and then the timer when he gets a stopwatch. And at that point, it's very difficult to try and kill him, and he's already looking to set up for a possible Baron setup if he really wanted to. He's got one gun in his back pocket, and they're going to go ahead and take Scuttle. You can already see 500 on the crit, and maybe the plan is to go. Yeah, you see, he's got 2,000 more gold than K2. This guy is loaded.
Word.
This Aphelios is like really, really rich.
Very rich. Cash money.
This is a cash money game
now
for this Aphelios. I'm just saying.
Exactly.
And unfortunately, too, like Ozzy's still sitting on toward his first item, by the way. He's trying to go for his Zonias. He's only got his boots upgraded. There you go. They can start this Baron relatively easy. There's nothing really I think Berjaya can do to try and turn this.
Oh, they spot this out. I hear pings, but K2 wants to go back. He doesn't have enough mana.
So you see
cancel it.
Delulu actually popped himself out of the brush, and AHQ were like, we can maybe turn. They don't actually know how far back Berjaya are playing, that they could actually rush that down and force Berjaya to have to make an answer, but I guess AHQ not in the mood to maybe throw away this game.
Yeah, better safe than sorry. And again, one thing to note about Berjaya is that at least they're slowing down the bleed. They've only given up 5 kills so far in a span of 21 minutes. And they've realized, okay, we gotta take it slow. Laning phase is over. Let's play around objectives. Let's see whether or not someone can be caught off of position. Let's see whether or not Wako can be caught off guard later on. And I feel like, you know, the Baron fights that AHQ will most likely be starting will be that prime opportunity that Berjaya desires. But again, it's a timer. Wako eventually will be sort of unkillable with more items that he has.
He also picked up his Phantom Dancer, by the way. So now he gets that little extra shielding and a little bit extra move speed. And there's also going to be a point where he gets Death's Dance if he wants. And then if you're Berjaya, I think you just type FF because this is getting really out of hand. No one's really doing anything on their team.
It's so hard too because, again, this is the point of the game where AHQ will be always together. Teleports will be online. Uniboy will just join the fight whenever he pleases. And Dragon Soul will be the next target. We'll see what Berjaya decides to do.
Yeah, give them some extra move speed, and you can see AHQ not afraid to try and start this one off. Maybe just trying to bait Berjaya into a play. Civ going for the wide wraparound play. Is spotted out on top of a ward if he wants to try and jump on in. We'll see whether or not that's going to be the case. Ozzy able to steal back away the ultimate. Delulu, though, goes down low. That does force out the Scatter of the Week rather early. Depth Charge, unfortunately, gets canceled during the animation. And there you go. AHQ should be able to secure themselves a Cloud Soul.
Yeah, despite Moonlight Vigil, not having to hit, it's totally okay as one of their main engage is gone. Delulu is gone, so Berjaya does not want to fight a 4v5. That tower really zoned them a little bit, actually, as that's actually pretty painful. And it's the fact that Civ also wanted to do a flank, so they are practically a little bit separated, and Ozzy not present for the majority of that engage.
Yeah, this is the exact game that AHQ wished to play here. It's a calm collective, you know, oh, we'll go for a team fight. Oh, our Aphelios is online. Yeah, everything's good. If they really wanted to, they could go for a sub-30-minute Elder Soul. That is a possibility with this game because of just how much Berjaya have given away on this map.
Yeah, once Dragon's online, they can just walk casually towards the Dragon.
They can walk menacingly toward the Dragon if they really wanted to. Like, at this point, it's a little bit disgusting. AHQ. You see Wako. He doesn't necessarily have the best guns for this Baron, but they could still do it if they wish.
Yeah, he has Runans and Bork, at least for the side of K2. So far, though, there's, again, a lot of high expectations, I guess, when it comes to Ozzy on the Sylas, as the early to mid didn't work out so well for himself, and the numerous times that we've seen Berjaya and AHQ clash in an objective, we've never really seen Ozzy do much on the Sylas.
There you go. That is the perfect gun setup to do Baron. Can absolutely rip it apart. Ysera's just running, again, interference. You see Berjaya are going to try and force their way into the pit. That's the way to do it. They actually get everything onto Wako. Gets knocked up in the air by the Baron. And of all the things to go wrong for AHQ, it just did. In comes that Galio ultimate, trying to turn it on back. They're able to find themselves their first kill. Jumping in on top of K2. He gets exhausted, but he's still able to stay alive. Ozzy finds himself a shutdown. It's the double kill, triple kill for Konya, though, to actually turn things back. Civ, at least his clone, is able to soak up the chain from the Sylas. But of all the things to go possibly wrong for AHQ, it just happened.
We were just talking about, you know, Wako is the win condition and the loss condition of AHQ. If he's gone, then AHQ will have a difficult time. That knockup worked so well for Berjaya. And with that said, because the main carry is gone for AHQ, Berjaya can just look to pick up the pieces and see whoever is going to be in range for their target. For K2, though, unfortunately, all of his peelers were not around, and Kongye is able to sneak in a kill on towards Berjaya's carry.
Yeah, if Berjaya win this game, can we give MVP on over to the Baron right there? Because of all the things to go wrong, That is a tragic way to lose a team fight, especially with how far ahead they were in this game. Now with the shutdowns actually onto the Silas, you have Ozzy's picked up his Proto Belt on top of his Zonia's. Oh boy, it's kind of given some life here back into Berjaya.
Yeah, again, that is the game for the Dragons. Wait for AHQ to dance around the objective, let them sacrifice a couple of HP,
I've seen this
tank
before.
There we go, they're doing it again. There's the Hawk
right.
spotting them out.
AHQ, let's see how they go. Are they going to roll the dice once again and see whether or not Baron is going to try and knock up Wako? It ends up, look how many shurikens he has, by the way. He's looking for a massive amount of damage onto anyone who jumps forward. Delulu just gets shredded on down. In comes the depth charge. Still not enough damage. Over toward the wall. They try and do it. Ozzy with himself on knock-up. It's knock-up upon knock-up. AHQ, they're starting to run down low on the health bars, but in come the Moonlight Vigil, and 200 years is online, baby. It's a quadra kill for the Aphelios.
That lantern was amazing. It repositioned Wako back into the actual backline, but Mawan managed to execute the Thresh. In the meantime, though, Kongi is very low. Mawan's still sticking around. He's not very healthy, though. But at the same time, already moving towards the mid lane. That was an insane fight coming from AHQ.
AHQ were able to do it. It got really messy when you also had, you know, 2 Wukong ultimates spinning through the rest of the fight. But luckily, Wako, he didn't get knocked up by the Baron. Baron played nice with him. We'll take another look at the fight.
I want to see this again, because the best part about it is that Wako was trapped inside the pit. He did not have any sort of way to get back into the actual backlane of AHQ once they repositioned, because he has to go through the rest of Berjaya, and as well as, you know, Ozzy having to steal his ult. That lantern was just beautiful by Ysera, and at that point, that AoE coming from the Aphelios just ruined the Dragons' day, and that's going to be a quadra kill.
Oh, Lord, we've seen, what, is now 3 or 4 quadras today? Everyone's just short of the damn Penta. We're going to get ourselves the Penta region, Penta Championship Series. Nonetheless, Baron buff now contained for the side of AHQ. 2 minutes on the board. We'll see what they can do and try and crack open some of these turrets remaining on the side of Berjaya. Or if they're going to look to try and set up another big play as they just start stealing away and siphoning gold through the jungle.
Yeah, and Death Stand's already completed for both AD carries, I suppose. But in the meantime, though, it is definitely Wako having more, you know, lifelines to hold on to. And with that whole fight, Cleanse was not used at all. So that is something that Berjaya has to at least bait out for them to be prepared for another mission to kill Wako, because Elder Drake is live right now.
Yeah, Wako at this point, he's still a full item ahead of K2, and Elder Dragon's online. He also has turrets set up if he wishes to do this and just try and zone back away Berjaya over the wall. They end up going. Wako is just soloing Elder Drake over the wall. Do they find themselves a steal? It's not going to happen. Uniboy rejoins in onto the front with the heroic entrance. Unfortunately, not able to find a knockup, but Enzo is going to get tagged, and the execution, it's coming if they can find it. Uniboy looking for a flank himself, Justice Punch on forward. Scout of the week, though, able to at least do that. Prevents the chase from following through, but now Elder as well as Baron buff for the next minute.
HQ, more than enough. Like, they're equipped. So there's a lot of things on their belt right now. They've got Dragon Soul, they've got Elder, they have the Baron buff. Wako right now has a lot of safety net to work with, and that means they're going to work their way slowly on towards the base of Berjaya. Wave clear, I think it's pretty decent, but at the same time, you have to put yourself in danger when it comes to at least on the Syndra. Perhaps the volley a little bit for K2. But then again, it's going to be a tough defense, and Inhibitor Tower will be the next line of defense for the Dragons, I suppose.
We also have Uniboy, who's going to be in the bot side of the map, pushing in on that bot lane. So now Berjaya, they're having to deal with all this split push, this like 2-1-1 kind of coming out here from AHQ. As Civ is going to go back, also has teleport available, and HQ, the fact that they're not even going for any fights at the moment, they're just waiting to see whether or not Berjaya are going to, you know, make the mistake to try and go for a fight with that Elder buff available. And you can see Wako, he's just going to step up, and he will absolutely destroy anyone who comes forward. The turret even comes out. Ozzy's been taking just splash damage underneath the tower. Depth charge is going to land there on Wako. Able to keep himself safe, putting down another turret.
Yeah, that lantern is just so handy. as you can see, it has been the story so far. You know, that arrow on Wako's face. Nope, I'm gonna lantern out. Another ult, the depth charge being used. The lantern is the answer. And at this point, Wako is so brave, he's the one moving forward. And there's a flash.
Civ, he just goes ahead, puts in the flash, ends up popping the ultimate. Enzo just gonna get double knocked up, but they're not even worried about getting the kills. They get themselves the inhibitor tower as well as the inhibitor itself. AHQ now open up that almost 10,000 gold lead over Berjaya before 35 minutes.
They are surgically removing every single thing away from the Dragons. And, you know, it's one of those things where better safe than sorry, because there's still an opportunity where Wako might get picked off by the Dragons. They have a lot of tools to do so, I suppose, but that's a Guardian Angel. It's going to be more difficult at this point. Exactly. Full summoner spells, Cleanse Flash. You got Phantom Dancer, Death Dance, and a Guardian Angel. Like, at this point, if you... Okay, hold up. Delulu.
Delulu? He gets himself to safety. In comes Kongya over the wall. He has the GA himself, but Ysera gets him back to safety over the wall. Oh boy, here it comes. Over it is.
Dear me.
Wako goes unstoppable, and in comes Civ, and it's just a complete slaughter within the base of Berjaya. Ozzy at least trying to do what he can, running interference. Unfortunately, you can see the flashes coming out. Wako is still in mid lane beside the tower at this point. AHQ, confident, can look to finish off this game to start off their summer split.
And it all started because Delulu wanted to place Vision at least on the Baron for them to fight another day, but unfortunately, death timers are huge, and HQ is just really, really strong.
Oh boy, nothing we're gonna do. Flash forward coming out from Ysera, ends up finding the hook. There's your taunts. Wako is untouched during this entire fight, by the way. Flashing in underneath the tower. There's so many GAs. Ysera gets taken on down. Oh no, all right. Let's see, get a little bit iffy, but in the end, AHQ are still unstoppable. Delulu falls. And that is just Wako BMing outside the fountain. He doesn't even care. They're going to try and at least take him on down, but still they can't do enough damage to this Aphelios, and AHQ will take home the victory to start off their summer split.
34-minute game. AHQ was definitely having fun on that one. Just getting all the objectives off of the map and just really giving Berjaya a very hard time in their debut game for spring.
Yeah, I think
Summer,
that was,
rather.
Yeah. That was just kind of an AHQ game, and unfortunately, it's kind of what we've seen from Berjaya every time they went up against one of the big three within the PCS. We kind of felt like there was a lack of direction when it comes to their shot calling, and especially in this game, especially that 10 to like 25, 30-minute mark. Absolutely, I don't think Berjaya had comms because it felt like they just had no idea what they wanted to accomplish.
Yeah, it's definitely more on trying to ride the wave and adjust with what the team is going to do, the opposite team is going to do. I want to point out again, this was a beautiful lantern, just taking Wako back into the team. And Berjaya actually had a prime position to jump on Wako at that time since he was sort of ignored in the pit. He was the only HQ member left on that Baron pit. That one managed to get a sneaky Dark Spear off of Ysera, but at the end of the day, it is HQ. Look at that damage graph, Opal.
That's why
32.
I'm laughing. That's why I'm laughing, Rikyo. 32,000 damage. That's like, all right, that's a combined total of everyone on the bot side of Berjaya Dragon's composition, pretty much. Yeah, that's an Aphelios. That's what Aphelios does. Yeah, it was a pretty clean victory coming out from AHQ. I think, I even say, like, the one mistake they really had was kind of that Baron fight, the original one. You can kind of factor in that Baron kind of, you know, trying to give the upper hand to Berjaya, you know, playing the insider role when it came to that fight. But Wako was able to survive in the ensuing fights, and they were able to take home the victory.
It's like after that, you know, Wako doubled down on any of the safety items after. It's like, okay, you're not gonna kill me this time. After going back to base, I've got a Phantom Dancer, I've got a Death Dance, and as well as a Guardian Angel. So it just really made things harder for Berjaya. And it's the fact that no one actually got ahead, like Ozzy, maybe Mawan, maybe K2. That's the reason why they didn't have a Wako killer.
And there you go, too. That's also going to be our MVP for the first game of AHQ in Berjaya, as Waco's going to be taking that home, of course, on the Aphelios. So congratulations to him, as well as the rest of the squad, to start off their summer on the right foot.
Yeah, what an opening match. And it's just one of those things where, you know, despite having a ton of nerfs for Aphelios in the previous patches, having a ton of adjustments, if the right player has managed to get a hold of Aphelios, it's still going to be a nightmare for you.
Yeah, you're going to have a rough time, to say the very least, if that's going to be the case. So, of course, though, we are going to go to an interview with Patty, as well as, I believe it's Ysera, actually, over from AHQ,
OK，
so
那想要
take it
请问
away.
一下，在这个休赛季，你们是有做什么样的一个练习，做什么样的调整吗？
So what kind of preparation did you guys do during the off season to compete in this season?
休赛期我们最多的准备大概就是轮替选手吧，因为我们为了一些战术，所以有做很多的选手轮替。
So we prepared a lot of player rotation during the off season because we prepared a lot of plans for the season to play.
OK， 那接下来想要请问第二个问题，就是在本次的 PCS 将会有2张世界赛的门票。那你在评估了可能这些选手的转队，你觉得谁会是最大的劲敌呢？
So PCS region has 2 spots at World this year. After all the roster changes, who do you think is your biggest opponent?
我觉得最大的劲敌应该是 PSG 跟 Magi 吧，因为毕竟是春季赛的2个冠亚军，而且在今天的比赛上看起来他们的表现还是不错的。
So I think it's probably going to be Magi and PSG because they were the top 2 teams in spring and they also did pretty well today.
好的，那也非常恭喜以色拉，你们拿下了这场比赛的胜利，当然也感谢翻译。那今天的一个访问也就到这边。不过呢，当然我们刚刚也可以听到的就是AHQ 它的以色拉。
And welcome back, everybody. As you saw there, Ysera, yeah, pretty much just standard as far as everything went. Wasn't too concerned, and some respect going on over there to Machi and PSG based off their performances today.
Yeah, absolutely. Considering, again, what happened at playoffs where AHQ had to fight PSG twice, and then, yeah, it's going to be definitely a tough one when it comes to reaching towards that world slot.
And to take a look back at what happened over the course of today, you saw PSG took home both of their victories over both Machi and Nova. Machi, though, was able to get a little bit of revenge after taking down Resurgence, so they'll finish 1-1. And then, unfortunately, Liab and Berjaya not able to claim victories in their final games of the day. So that will mean PSG will sit at the top of the standings alone with the 2-0 record to start off Summer Split.
It's a rough day for the SCA representatives. I mean, it's just one of those things where, hey, it's looking really nice and good at the early game, but come mid-game to late, it's just not enough. So hopefully they just jump back in when it comes to the next few games that they have.
No, we'll have to see. And of course, there's still action to come tomorrow, as we are playing 2 games every weekend. And then we have that Super Week back on week 6, where we'll have the extra bit of Friday here. But I think as far as what we expected, I don't think there was too many surprises. I think everybody was kind of on the same page. The only one I was like 50-50 was the HKA game, but let's take a look at what our matches are going to be tomorrow. Resurgence going to be playing 2 games. They first take on Nova, and then we'll take on Berjaya. In between that, though, it'll be AHQ taking on J-Team, and then BSG will go up against Liab, and then we'll have Machi against Berjaya Dragons, and to finish things off, Alpha taking on HKA.
Ooh, another tough day for the Liab fans, I suppose, but I think a little bit easier on the LST side where they get to match against each other in comparison to today where it's almost always an LST versus LMS for day 1.
Yeah, you see, we get to start things off with, of course, that Singapore versus Thailand special, where it's going to be Resurgence taking on Nova. So get a little bit of a clash, some good, battle rivalry coming out there from the former LST squads. But of course, if you guys enjoyed the show, be sure to follow either on all the pages that you're watching, whether that be Twitch, YouTube, or Facebook at LOL Pacific. You guys can also check out our Twitter, LOL Esports PCS, where you guys will be able to keep up with all the information regarding the PCS. And a special thank you to anyone watching with one of our TV partners within Southeast Asia as a whole. And if you guys liked our casting or just want to hear whether or not Riku is just going to betray Liab once again, that's always a possibility. You guys can be sure to follow us on Twitter, either at OpalCast as well as RikuCast, and you guys can also check out Abriz LOL for Abriz's social media. For us, though, that is going to be the end of our very first day of summer. Not too many surprises, but still some nice League of Legends, so thanks for joining us, and we'll see you all tomorrow.